Wonder Woman 3 in jeopardy?
Yeah. Let's go to it. So, Patty Jenkins is a little bit concerned about Wonder Woman 3. Shocker, surprise. The what do you call it? The Rotten Tomatoes has already dropped. The bottom is pretty much dropped out of it. The fans don't like it. The people, the reviewers that aren't shills don't like it. I have yet to hear anything positive about it. And I said last week, when literally 3 days after it was released, they were already saying there was going to be a Wonder Woman 3. I said, that is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. That means they'd already decided there was going to be a Wonder Woman 3 before they released it. Now what I'm hearing is, no, not really. There's going to be a Wonder Woman 3, just like there was going to be a Rian Johnson trilogy, and just like there was going to be a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek, and just like all the other things that they announced to get hype going, but never actually come to pass. Because you're still subject to how much money did the last movie make. If it didn't do well and you can't get investors, you won't be able to put the budget together to make the movie, so it's never going to happen. Okay? She effed up. She done effed up big time. Okay? When you look at the success of the first Wonder Woman movie and the failure of Wonder Woman 84, you see a lot of things very clearly. Okay, you can blame it on the coof, you can blame it on streaming, you can blame it on China, you can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but you can't blame the reviews on any of those things, because whether you saw it in a theater or you saw it in your own home, you watched it and you either enjoyed it or you didn't, and you have your reasons why. And if Wonder Woman, the first one was so good, what's different? And I'll pose that question to you. This isn't rhetorical. What's different between the first Wonder Woman movie and the current Wonder Woman movie?
It takes place in the 80s.
Well, okay, yes. But honestly, that's a minor thing. From a more fundamental storycraft level, what was different? The writers. Who were the writers for the first movie?
Oh, yeah. They said that Patty Jenkins had a big hand in the writing of this one.
Yes. She kind of took charge. Congratulations. Empowering the woman, letting her take charge. It does nothing for your cause if she fails, and she did. And, everyone says, well, Jeff Johns. What did Jeff Johns actually contribute? Okay. They both have some writing credit there, but I think the only thing Jeff Johns provided was the gold armor, and the bad guy is a Wonder Woman villain from the comics, and the origin story basically for Cheetah. I mean, he provided her with the comic book information. She crafted the story, and she directed it, and she oversaw it. So really, everything that went to crap on this movie that people are complaining about is all on her. She was the director and writer.
Do you think they hired the effects people that worked on the Cats movie to do the cheetah effects for this one?
I said this about Cats, and I'm going to say it about this too. If that was the worst problem that it had going for it, then I'd say they were doing pretty well. But that's not the worst thing about this movie. And bad special effects, look at classic Doctor Who. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Those were horrible special effects, but they were awesome stories. Now we have excellent special effects and shit stories. If you can't put a story together, no amount of good special effects is going to save it. And if the story is good, bad special effects isn't going to hurt it that bad.
Yeah, I know. I remember they made a point about the new series. How they even went to scope widescreen for it. Like, the cinematography is better than it's ever been, but they were like arguing that the show itself is just. Well, we'll get to Doctor Who later.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm trying to think if there was anything else though.
But
I don't think anyone's defending this movie at this point. I mean,
if you,
actually, there are still people. That's the next article, isn't it? But
well, and then there's the quote from Yellow Flash where they were talking about Wonder Woman 3 will defeat the patriarchy. It's like, well, I don't know, because Wonder Woman 2 kind of crumbled under the patriarchy, right? I mean, if you've got a feminist message, Wonder Woman 2 definitely was not it. And you had Patty Jenkins in charge, so it's not like, you had some man that you could point to and say he doesn't know how to write for women. I mean, I was talking about fans and casual viewers and reviewers panning this movie, but the SJW crowd is panning this one too, and coming out and saying your whole movie is about a woman who's been pining for, over almost 100 years over the death of a man, and all of her motivations in this movie are about that man. And it's like, yeah, that's not really very empowering if that's what your message is. Look, okay, I understand that our audience tends to be very much on the very middle of the road to conservative side when it comes to these SJW matters. But you can't escape the fact that Wonder Woman has always been about feminism. You go back to the beginning, and it was this intended to be this very empowering message for women, and that's what she was all about. Okay,
yeah, I think the creator even said as much. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, he, nowadays people would call him a simp, but it doesn't matter, because in doing, and this is what we've always said, if you have a message that you want to get out there, at least give us a good story. And Wonder Woman has always been about good story, good hero. Okay, you got me. If that's what feminism is, I'm totally behind it. And then you undermine it by taking away her the first movie started it by buying into this whole New 52 origin, where instead of her being made from clay by one woman, by a mother, and then being imbued with spirit by all the females of the pantheon, and having no male input. I mean, how much more feminist could you be? Now, she's just a daughter of Zeus. Okay, well, that's a big ding against your feminist message, and now she's just, running around like your basic damsel whose only motivation is her love life. I mean, what could be less feminist? But yay, Patty Jenkins, I guess. I don't know what to say. I don't even know.
What you were saying that reminded me of when the Wonder Woman animated movie came out years ago, and there was a trailer for it, and I love this line from the trailer. Some heroes are made, others are born. Okay, and
Right.
Wonder Woman's the born hero, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I would argue Green Lantern is a chosen hero, which I thought was interesting. But okay,
Yeah, exactly. I just, this whole thing has got me so frustrated, but I laugh because I see this and it's like, this is the ultimate failure of the Snyderverse, right? I mean, this is, in fact, I love when I look at the Rotten Tomato scores and I look at the box office and I look at everything. This movie is a new low for the Snyderverse. Okay. It's actually lower now than Suicide Squad. That's how bad it is.
I have to admit, I'm not going to pay money for it, but I'm tempted to watch it at some point because it just strikes me as a train wreck, and I'm curious.
So many people have been saying it was 2.5 hours.
Oh,
and there was still story missing from it. Like there was setups that went nowhere, and there was payoffs that had no setup. It was poorly edited. And I'm like, fine, it was poorly edited. That means it was poorly directed and it was poorly written. And all of that falls on I almost said Kathleen Kennedy, on Patty Jenkins' shoulders.
Well, speaking of which, though, Patty Jenkins is directing the next Star Wars film, and I am worried. Says Schooner Tuna.
I absolutely will not be watching it. We did have that in our notes, and we were planning to get to that. But she's already saying all the buzzes that have me Captain Marveling this already. She's clearly going into it as a Kathleen Kennedy lackey, and I won't support it. I will not. This not my Rogue Squadron. That's all I have to say about it. But this could be another one of those things, just like Benioff and Weiss, who were all excited about leaving Game of Thrones to go on to Star Wars, so much so that they crapped all over Game of Thrones to get it done and gone so they can move on to Star Wars. And Disney goes, yeah, we're just looking at what you did with your last season. No, we're not giving you a trilogy.
They had the most popular television show in the world.
Yep.
They were in charge of it.
Yep.
And I can yell at HBO for a lot of things. I'm not yelling at them for that,
right?
Because they would have wanted the show to continue on for seasons. I think even the actors would have stayed on. I think nobody wanted to end, but the
everybody was behind them on that. Even George Martin. He was like, I will write you detailed notes for every season if you'll just do the darn thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we can wrap this up in one season.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
Season.
Yeah. And not only that, but we had to wait 2 years for it too. And it's like, oh, this is what we're getting.
And congratulations. Their careers are pretty much over.
They were going to do a spin-off series. They were going to do a prequel series. I'm not going to get into Game of Thrones on here because it's too much to talk about. We could probably do a whole stream.
It's all relevant, right? It kind of demonstrates to you what happens. And I see the same thing happening with Patty Jenkins. She had the most successful DC film, and then but she didn't write it. She just directed it. And yes, she got writing credit. But again, I would say to you, what did she really write? You understand how writing credits work. If you're a director and you're like, you know what, I want to change this one line, I don't think they would say that. Okay. So for example, when Lawrence Kasdan, writes, or George Lucas or whoever writes a line for Han Solo, and then from the director's seat, the director says, no, you know what, that improv that Harrison Ford just did, I like that. Let's go with that instead. That's a writing credit. You are the director, but you've changed a line of dialogue, so you get writing credit. That's how it happens. So Patty Jenkins may have changed a line or two in the previous movie. Congratulations, you got a writing credit. Now they think she can write a whole screenplay? Well, this is what happens. Congratulations. Now she wants to move on to Star Wars. Hey, Star Wars guys, maybe take a look at how she did on her last Wonder Woman movie and decide whether or not you really want another Kathleen Kennedy, who doesn't know what she's doing, but knows what she wants to do.
I did like the one line from the first Wonder Woman movie about the ice cream. You should be very proud, remember?
I did not see it. I have not seen a Snyderverse film.
It's not the worst. It has its issues too, and I'm not going to even tell you to watch it because I had issues with it too. But there was a great scene in it where like this guy saying ice cream, and then Steve Trevor buys her an ice cream, and she tries it and says, "You should be very proud for making this like this guy that he bought it from invented ice cream." Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't. That was clever. I wish we'd had more of that.
Well, that's one of the commentaries that I've been hearing about this, the whole fish out of water thing, right? Where they tried to reverse it to make him the fish out of water. And it's like, you know what? It worked for Wonder Woman. It worked for Steve Rogers, not really working here for Steve Trevor.